Was it just me, or did the stadium in the Royal Rumble look so empty? I mean, those LED lights look beautiful, but I don't know, man. That stadium looked half full. It looked more than half full, to say the least. I genuinely do not believe that this was AJ Styles' last match in professional wrestling. There's literally a group of people that think that way, Peter Rosenberg and Triple H, and there's another group of people like me that genuinely believe that this guy is going to be all elite. AJ Styles versus Will Ospreay, AJ Styles versus Kenny Omega, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Tommoso Ciampa wasted no time and is all elite with AEW, and he immediately won the TNT Championship. Wow. Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble, and I'm not mad about it. Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
The recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Get stealing, woo, wheeling, dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun. Yeah! Kurt Angle, yeah! Why, Triple H, you son of a tell me why! And Tony Khan, this is also on you!
I am going to ruin wrestling.
Just get over it!
So WWE really had my emotions running rampant last night at the Royal Rumble. I mean, primarily because of the whole AJ Styles situation. From what it looks like, AJ Styles is set to be done, but I still, you know, deep down in my heart, I still beg to differ, and I don't think AJ Styles is truly done, unlike what other people like Triple H or Peter Rosenberg say. But yeah, man, AJ Styles had his last WWE match, and I use that term very strongly. Last WWE match, not his last professional wrestling match, his last WWE match at the Royal Rumble last night against Gunther, in what was a fantastic match, to say the least. Gunther, I've always said this, Gunther is one of the most entertaining acts on WWE right now, and he really is just on another level. Retiring people left and right. First it was Goldberg, then it was John Cena, now it's AJ Styles. But what's up, everybody? It is yours truly, Flamin' Ricky DeRays, right here on the WrestleHavoc Podcast. It is Sunday, February 1st, 2026. February 1st. The month of January has already passed. The month of January has already passed. Now everybody's talking about Valentine's Day. Wait 13 days. And then we'll talk about Valentine's Day, but everybody's talking about Valentine's Day, and it's February 1st. Valentine's Day doesn't happen until February 14th. Okay? Well, let's cut the crap and wait until February 14th. That's just me. But we had the Royal Rumble last night. We're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble. We're actually going to be going in depth about the Royal Rumble because that's really what we're going to be talking about on this edition of the show. We're also going to be talking about minor stories, or not really minor stories, but huge stories, primarily Tommoso Ciampa. Tommoso Ciampa, as you guys know, made his AEW debut this past Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, confronting the current TNT champion, Mark Briscoe, or I should scratch that, the former TNT champion, Mark Briscoe, considering his first match, Tommoso Ciampa's first match in AEW was last night on Collision, and he actually won the TNT title in his debut match. So we're going to be talking about that as well right here on the WrestleHavoc Podcast. But the majority of this show, we are going to be talking about the Royal Rumble because it was a very newsworthy show, to say the least. A very, very, very newsworthy show, from Liv Morgan winning the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble. Of course, we had Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn, the AJ Styles retirement, which I don't really think is a retirement at the moment right now. I do think he will fully retire in 2026, but I don't necessarily think that this match that he had with Gunther was his last match. Plus, we're also going to be talking about Roman Reigns. Yes, Roman Reigns is the winner of the 2026 Royal Rumble. And I got a lot of mixed reactions from a lot of people, and we will be going in depth about that as well. But before we get into all this craziness, please make sure to like and subscribe to the WrestleHavoc Podcast channel right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. And as the friggin' referee would say, ring Ring, ring, that damn bell for more notifications. Also, if you guys are watching this edition of the WrestleHavoc Podcast on WNN platforms, I thank you guys so much for watching me on those platforms as well. But without any further ado, let's get straight into talking about all of the wrestling that took place, primarily the Royal Rumble. Yes, the Royal Rumble took place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the first time the Royal Rumble took place outside of the United States. And I do not count the greatest Royal Rumble back in 2018. I do not count the greatest Royal Rumble. A lot of people are like, oh, but that was the first Royal Rumble outside of the United States. The greatest Royal Rumble, which was WWE's first venture in Saudi Arabia, their first show in Saudi Arabia, the greatest Royal Rumble was basically a glorified house show. The first few couple of Saudi shows that WWE had throughout from like 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, those types of shows, those felt like glorified house shows. Nowadays, we've come to the point where basically the Saudi Arabia shows are kind of the norm now, and they're not really just glorified house. They're not really glorified house shows. They're just normal PLEs. They're normal pay-per-views. And we've gone to the point where now actual WWE, major WWE events like the Royal Rumble that recently are taking place in Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania 43, whatever you think about that, I know I had my opinions on that. I don't like the idea of WrestleMania 43 next year taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but it is what it is. Those shows are now the norm, and Saudi Arabia is now the norm. They've been making moves. Riyadh season over in Saudi Arabia is huge. But this was the first Royal Rumble outside of the United States, the first official Royal Rumble outside of the United States. And overall, I thought it was a pretty good show. Now, the biggest question that everybody had on their mind when they first watched the show, especially in the beginning, was the look of the show. Now, one of the things that I don't want to say, I'm going to take that, but one of the things that interested me the most about this show was how fast these people, the people in Saudi Arabia, built this stadium. It's crazy. This stadium wasn't even in existence at least a month ago. They basically built this whole stadium per se for this show. Like this, they built the stadium quick in a span of a month, which is insane. But one thing I will say is, and the production of the show was fantastic. The set design was really good. It brought me back, man. You know, WWE nowadays is kind of lazy when it comes to, like, especially with their arena shows. Like, they don't really go all out in terms of their stage design. They have just a generic stage, or if they have like a full sellout house, like they have that small setup like they used to do back in, you know, the 80s and the 90s, which I personally do not mind, but still, I mean, you know, I miss those old set designs. But the set design for the Royal Rumble, and they used it for SmackDown the night before, was beautiful. I loved the set design for the Royal Rumble. But one of the things that everybody was talking about, especially in the beginning of the show, was how empty the stadium looked in the beginning. And at first, I was like, the stadium being empty. I mean, this is WWE. I mean, they always have sellouts. I mean, this is not 2018. This is not 2019. But as you were watching the show, the show really felt like it was like there's not a lot of people there. And a large portion of that had to do with the LED lighting that was in every seat per se. Now, this is not the first time WWE experimented with this. This is not the first time any pro wrestling promotion experimented with this. I can vividly remember back in 2020, they were in Chicago at the Wintrust Arena for the first Revolution show, arguably one of the greatest AEW pay-per-views of all time. Every seat had LED lighting, and it was freaking beautiful. And if you really think about it, you didn't look at the arena and was like, oh my God, why does the arena look so empty? You vividly saw the people with those LED lights. And the same thing can be said with the first Raw on Netflix. I believe the first Raw on Netflix at the Intuit Dome had the same thing. But then we fast forward to shows like Money in the Bank last year, which ironically was at the Intuit Dome. In the beginning of the show, WWE kind of ran into a similar issue. They ran into a similar issue in which the entire arena looked empty. especially from the first match. If you watch Money in the Bank last year, from the beginning, the arena looked very empty in the beginning, and then fast forward to the end, it looked full. This was a similar case at the Royal Rumble, but it looked empty for the majority of the show, but you really started to see people pop more once like Sami Zayn came out, and really once the Gunther and AJ Styles match started, that's when you really started to see the crowd started to, you know, be more energetic, because if you watch the Women's Royal Rumble, like, the crowd felt quiet, except for that moment when Brie Bella came back, but I digress. But the stadium did look really empty, and there's no denying that. I don't know what the deal was with that. It was a very weird scenario. It kind of looked embarrassing in a sense, but you clearly saw people in the stadium, and this is why WWE's production is masterclass. They know how to make stuff look good in situations like this. AEW as well, but WWE is just top notch. They are the best of the best of production. The WWE production team nowadays is the UFC production team. That's what it is. But it did look really empty in the beginning, and the crowd was vividly quiet throughout the majority of the Women's Royal Rumble, which is very weird to say, but it's true. But overall, that is something I really wanted to talk about first off, because again, it was a talking point in the Royal Rumble that everybody was just discussing on social media. But in terms of the Royal Rumble itself, overall thoughts on the Royal Rumble show. Again, I enjoyed the Royal Rumble. I enjoyed the show itself. I really enjoyed the Gunther and AJ Styles match for obvious reasons, because this is AJ's last WWE match, but also the match itself was really good. And the standing ovation that AJ Styles got in the end was just amazing. It was very emotional for a lot of people. I'm going to go on a limb and say this. It wasn't as emotional for me. I'm a big AJ Styles guy. I've been a big AJ Styles fan for years, and I mean for years. I first started watching AJ Styles when I was in like 5th grade, and when he was still in TNA. My first like memory of AJ Styles was during the Aces and Eights storyline, because that was when I first started watching TNA. But I mean, AJ is arguably one of the greatest wrestlers in the modern era. Easily. But the reason why I didn't feel much emotion, unlike a lot of people, is I genuinely don't believe that he's going to... this match... I genuinely believe that this match that he had with Gunther is not his last match. I think he will retire in 2026. I just don't believe that his last match was with Gunther. Contrary to what a lot of other people say, like Peter Rosenberg and Triple H. But we will talk about AJ Styles later on as we go through the Royal Rumble Premium Live event. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy regarding the name of the Premium Live event? Because we used to call these pay-per-views. These are now called Premium Live events. I used to rant on how the name Premium Live event sounds so Vince McMahon. Nowadays, we've gone to the point where like nobody says pay-per-view anymore, at least for WWE. Everybody calls them PLEs. Nobody calls them pay-per-views. Even with AEW, like AEW, like nobody calls them PLEs. They call AEW pay-per-views AEW pay-per-views. Like we call WWE pay-per-views now just PLEs. Like we've gone to the point where like the term PLE is the norm, which is crazy to think, man. Time is flying fast. It's kind of scary. Time is flying fast, and it's really scary. But the Royal Rumble, man, let's talk about the Royal Rumble. The first match that we saw at the Royal Rumble was the Women's Royal Rumble. We saw the Women's Royal Rumble, and I'm going to be honest, I wasn't as excited for the Women's Royal Rumble, unlike I was for the men. I mean, even the Men's Royal Rumble I wasn't as excited for, but at least there was more interest in the Men's Royal Rumble. But even still, like, one of the things that a lot of people criticize WWE for, especially with the show as a whole, was the fact that there was barely any promotion for the Royal Rumble. And you would think for a show that kicks off the road to WrestleMania, WWE would really just put their foot forward in terms of promotion for the Royal Rumble, but these people didn't do that. These people did not do that. They were like, you know that the Royal Rumble's coming up, so yeah, just watch the Royal Rumble. You know it's coming up anyway. We got your money. Who cares? That's basically WWE's mentality, because let's be honest, the only reason why the Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia is because they got that big fat paycheck by Turki Al-Sheikh. they got that big ass paycheck from Turki Al-Sheikh. That is the cold hard truth. It's the cold hard truth. And the same thing is going to be for WrestleMania next year. I'm not looking forward to WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry. You know for a fact the build for that show is going to be insane in a negative way. Insane in a negative way, but that's a year from now. That is a year from now. Let's talk about the now, but the promotion for the Royal Rumble was not the best. There was barely any build for the Royal Rumble. The Drew McIntyre Sami Zayn match was basically made at Saturday Night's Main Event the week prior. Really, I mean, normally when it comes to Royal Rumble shows, there's like 2 undercard matches and then the Royal Rumble matches themselves. Royal Rumble cards never have like 5-6 matches on the card. They always had like the world title matches and then the Royal Rumble match, or matches now, since they now have the women's Royal Rumble match. But the show kicked off with the women's Royal Rumble match, and again, I wasn't as excited for the women's Royal Rumble match as I was for the men's, and even the men's, I was just not that excited for. This whole show as a whole was just not, I wasn't really excited about, unfortunately, because again, WWE just didn't really put the effort in terms of promoting the Royal Rumble. But I'm going to be naming all of the entrants in order for the women's Royal Rumble. We had Charlotte Flair as number 1 and Alexa Bliss as number 2. Of course, current tag team partners. And I love the dynamic between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. I think it's great, and it gives Charlotte something to do. I'm not really the biggest fan of Charlotte being put in a singles role because, we all know how that turns out. But I like the dynamic that they have with, Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Kiana James as number 3. Nia Jax comes in at number 4. Ivy Nile comes in at number 5. Lola Vice as number 6. We got a lot of NXT names on this Royal Rumble. Candice LeRae as number 7. Number 8 is the former TNA Knockouts champion, Jordynne Grace, current NXT superstar. Becky Lynch, the current Intercontinental champion, at number 9. By the way, I love that theme song. I've been saying this for months now, ever since SummerSlam, but her theme song is freaking amazing. I love her new theme. Number 10, Sol Ruca. And she had a great showing at the Women's Royal Rumble match. If there's somebody who's definitely destined to be a big star, especially once they get called up to the main roster, it's definitely going to be Sol Ruca. I'm a big fan of hers. Roxanne Perez is number 11. Number 12, Maxine Dupree. Number 13, Natty. Not Natalia, Natty. Number 14, Liv Morgan. Number 15, Lash Legend. Number 16, Zelina Vega. Number 17, Raquel Rodriguez. Number 18, Chelsea Green. Number 19, Julia, the current U.S. champion, and they really haven't done anything with her. Is she still the U.S. champion? Correct me if I'm wrong. Number 20, Io Sky. Number 21, Asuka. Number 22, Rhea Ripley. She got a mega pop at the Royal Rumble. Number 23, Bayley. Number 24, the current NXT Women's Champion, JC Jane. Number 25, Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella is number 25. Number 26, Lyra Valkyria. Number 27, Kalani Jordan. Number 28, Kairi Sane. Number 29, Brie Bella, Brie Mode. She came out to her Brie Mode music, and the pop she got was crazy. I ain't gonna lie. The pop she got was absolutely insane. It's great to see Brie Bella back. The Brie Mode stuff, I mean, now granted, back then, a lot of people hated the Brie Mode stuff because it was just so cringe whenever she did the whole Brie Mode thing. But she didn't go overboard with the whole Brie Mode thing. She just came out to her Brie Mode theme and, did her thing with her sister Nikki. But it's great to see Brie Bella back again. The pop she got at the Royal Rumble was fantastic. And again, there was not really a lot of surprises in this Women's Royal Rumble match. The only surprises that we got was really Brie Bella. That was it. I mean, Nikki Bella, she's still been, doing stuff on WWE programming throughout the past couple of months. But Brie Bella, it's great to see her back, and the dynamic. I mean, seeing them both together in the ring was really good. And the number 30 entrant was Tiffany Stratton. Now, some of the people that had a great showing at the Royal Rumble, one of them being Lash Legend. Lash Legend was really good in this match. And if you want to talk about somebody who has improved drastically, because I've said my fair share about Lash Legend throughout the past couple of years, especially when NXT basically revamped NXT Black and Gold into NXT 2.0. Lash Legend was one of the quote unquote stars of that 2.0 era. Like, I don't think we're in the NXT 2.0 era anymore. We're just like in an era where it's just NXT and it's just basically all developmental. But like, if you saw the crap that they did back in NXT 2.0, I'm talking 2021, 2022, it was garbage. Lash Legend, you know, clearly she was very green, but one thing I will say is that Lash Legend has done a lot and she's improved drastically, and this shows it. Clearly, the WWE machine is going to get behind somebody like Lash Legend. And she eliminated both of the Bellas, Charlotte, and Io Sky. Rhea then eliminated Lash Legend. Raquel then eliminated her, that being Rhea Ripley, and she threw Rhea to the outside. Basically, Rhea landed on her back on the apron, and then she fell to the floor. That was a brutal elimination right there. And then Liv out of nowhere eliminates Raquel Rodriguez, her partner of the Judgment Day. And Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, and Sol Ruca were the final three in the Women's Royal Rumble match, which was actually not a bad final three. Not a bad final three. Now, obviously, Sol Ruca was not going to win this. I mean, again, Sol Ruca is still a part of NXT. They were not going to go forward, and they were not going to have somebody from NXT win the Royal Rumble. It doesn't work like that in WWE. But Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, and Sol Ruca are the final three. Again, with Sol Ruca being a part of the final three, it goes to show you how much the WWE machine is behind Sol Ruca. I mean, the WWE machine is behind Lash Legend, but they're also behind Sol Ruca as well. Sol Ruca is definitely going to be a big star. Sol Ruca ends up getting eliminated by Liv Morgan. Basically, she tried to do something off of the top rope and basically missed, and she essentially eliminated herself. And then after that, actually, Liv Morgan ends up hitting the Oblivion on Tiffany Stratton, and Liv Morgan won the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble match. Overall, I wasn't really, again, I wasn't as invested in this Women's Royal Rumble match, but I will say the last few minutes of the Women's Rumble really caught my eye. I'm being honest. It really caught my eye in the end. And normally, with any Royal Rumble match, the last few minutes with the last few entrants in that ring, you know, of course, it's going to get you excited to see who's going to win. But, you know, man, again, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, and Sol Ruca being the final three, I had no problem with. The Lash Legend looked phenomenal. Rhea Ripley looked great. Of course, she was like the star of that Royal Rumble match. But Liv Morgan ends up winning the Women's Royal Rumble match. Who is she going to go after? Is she going to go after Stephanie Vaquer, or is she going to go after Jade Cargill? We're going to have to wait and see. But one thing is to note is that Liv eliminated Raquel Rodriguez, who, of course, is a part of the Judgment Day. And they always do these dissension storylines, especially with the Judgment Day. And they've been teasing stuff for years at this point. At this point, I'm kind of through with it, but it is what it is. The Judgment Day is very different than the Judgment Day from 2 years ago. But, yeah, man, Liv Morgan won the Women's Royal Rumble match. And let's see what is in store for her down the road for WrestleMania. My prediction, I think she's going to go after Stephanie Vaquer, but we're going to have to wait and see. Moving on, we had AJ Styles versus Gunther. Yes, we had AJ Styles versus Gunther as the next match in the Royal Rumble PLE. This match was emotional for a lot of people. Number one, everybody knew coming into 2026 that AJ Styles was going to be retiring from professional wrestling. If you guys watched the Crown Jewel kickoff show ahead of his fantastic match with John Cena, which is easily one of the best matches of the year, I don't care what anybody says, AJ Styles versus John Cena at Crown Jewel last year was a fantastic match. And it basically showed you what could have been throughout the entire year in terms of John Cena's retirement tour. I think we are all in agreement that John Cena's retirement tour was I don't want to say a failure in terms of like financials, because they were selling merch left and right, but from a creative standpoint, the John Cena retirement tour was a botch. And a large portion of that had to do with the heel turn. Ever since John Cena turned babyface, They basically got almost the entirety of the John Cena retirement tour right in that later half of 2025, except for that Brock Lesnar match, because it really led to nothing. But the AJ Styles match is basically what we should have seen throughout the entire year in terms of John Cena's retirement tour. But in the kickoff show, AJ Styles did say that 2026 was going to be his last year wrestling for professional wrestling. He was going to retire in 2026. Nobody expected AJ Styles to retire in January of 2026. Everybody expected him to have like a full-on retirement tour and all that stuff. But then we get note of AJ Styles' contract being up in February. Now, AJ Styles did state years ago that he was asked if he wanted to go to AEW, and he says he has a lot of friends there, but, you know, once his career is over, he wants to work with WWE in some capacity. And I can totally respect that. You know, AEW is not really for everybody, even though AJ would fit like a glove over there. But that's what he said at the time. When WWE randomly, they were doing this angle with Gunther and AJ Styles, in which Gunther, they had a match on a Raw, and AJ had him beat, but Gunther basically found a way to beat AJ Styles. And then they were continuing this feud with AJ and Gunther, and AJ randomly put his career on the line against Gunther, and they had great segments together. Everybody was like, what? Now, again, everybody knew that he was going to retire in 2026, but they didn't think he was going to retire this early. they didn't think that he was going to retire this early. So again, it made no sense. It didn't. And then we find wind about his contract being up in February, and this could possibly be AJ Styles being written off of TV because his contract is going to be up in the month of February. Now, we do not know the exact day, but his contract is going to be up in February. But everybody, like, if there was anything that sparked interest in terms of the Royal Rumble show itself, it was this match, because everybody is thinking, like, the audience is split. One side thinks that this is actually AJ Styles' last match in wrestling, period. And the other side, and this is the side of that I'm in, thinks that this is AJ Styles' last WWE match because he's going to have a retirement tour of his own. He's not going to have any machine behind him. He wants to have matches in TNA, New Japan, and AEW. That's the boat that I'm going to be falling on. But the match itself, the match between Gunther and AJ Styles, was a really good match. I really enjoyed the match. Fun fact, Rudy Charles, yes, Rudy Charles, who was, I still call him Rudy Charles. He has a different name now. The referee that you guys see over here. He refereed a lot of AJ Styles matches in TNA. Yes, he was a part of TNA. That referee the Gunther and AJ Styles match was the referee in TNA. He was called Rudy Charles. He basically refereed this match, and I love how the people on commentary, Michael Cole, and essentially acknowledged that, which was great. But this match was not as an emotional roller coaster for me as it was for a lot of people, because again, I have my theories, and honestly, I feel like I'm going to be right in this scenario. But number one, Gunther's fantastic. I've always said this. Gunther retired Goldberg. He retired Cena. And in kayfabe, he retired AJ Styles. If that doesn't make you a much bigger star, especially as a heel, I do not know what is. What WWE is doing with Gunther is absolutely pure perfection. And I've said this throughout the past couple of shows. Gunther, especially with him retiring John Cena and all that stuff, Gunther has become a heat magnet. Everywhere he goes, the heat that he gets is just enormous. But it's really good heel heat. Really good heel heat. He is the type of heel, he's that type of heel that is an intimidating figure just by his size. And somebody who dominates. Not only that, their matches are just entertaining. Gunther is the type of wrestler that he has entertaining matches. Every single Gunther match that you watch is just fantastic. I genuinely believe he's one of the best wrestlers, in-ring wrestlers in the world. He's that damn good at what he does, and he's such a good character as well. He's a simple character, but he's an effective character. And that's what makes Gunther great. That's what makes Gunther great. And what they're doing with him retiring everybody, is it emotional? Yes. But at the end of the day, you know, there's a reason for everything. And there's a reason why they're pushing Gunther the way that they're pushing Gunther. It's because he's a destined main event guy. And he's been a destined main event guy for years at this point, for the last 2 years at this point. Former world heavyweight champion, 2-time world heavyweight champion. I assume he's probably going to win a world title later this year. We're going to have to wait and see. But, I mean, Gunther is the man. He is the man. Every single Gunther match that you watch is amazing. It's painful, but it's amazing. He beat the hell out of AJ Styles in this match. Chops just beat the living snot out of this dude. And in the end, Gunther made AJ Styles go to sleep with the sleeper hold. The same move that he beat John Cena with. So AJ Styles lost, as expected with a lot of people. I expected him to lose, and he did. And after that, Gunther walks away, and AJ Styles basically gets a standing ovation from the entire audience in Saudi Arabia. And by the way, the crowd in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, was fantastic. I definitely enjoyed the crowd in Riyadh. But they gave a standing ovation to AJ. AJ took off his gloves. It looked like he was about to put him down in the ring, but he put him back on. And then he left, came back to the ring, did his pose on the top rope, and then left again. So that begs the question. What is AJ Styles' future after the match that he had with Gunther? What is his future after the Royal Rumble? Again, you have one side that stated this is going to be AJ Styles' last match. You have a group of people that think that this is going to be AJ Styles' last match. And you have another group of people that think that AJ Styles is going to be exploring his options. Now, AJ Styles did state that this recent contract that he signed with WWE a couple years ago, was his last full-time WWE contract that he was going to sign. He stated this in numerous interviews. And he did state that he was going to be retiring in 2026. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I can't see this match being AJ Styles' final match in his entire career. I just can't. I cannot. I genuinely believe AJ Styles deep down knows what he wants to do if he really wants to go out on a bang in terms of his career. And there's so many possibilities. The possibilities are endless. Now, everybody's talking about TNA. Oh, he's going to have one run in TNA. And look, AJ Styles did tease going after the TNA World title on the first TNA show on AMC. He very well may win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Well, you never know. That very well could happen. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to have a full-time run in TNA. Number one, and this is the big question that we all need to ask ourselves. Can TNA even afford AJ Styles? I don't think so. But I think he can make some brief appearances in TNA, maybe have a couple matches in TNA. AJ Styles, yeah, he made his return to TNA last year, and he made an appearance in TNA this year in the AMC debut, but I mean, AJ, he hasn't had a match in TNA yet. I would love to see a match with him and Mike Santana. I would love to see a match between him and, Eric Young, or him and Leon Slater. I'd love to see an AJ Styles versus Leon Slater match. I think it'd be very, very, very fun to see. I'd be very excited about that. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I do believe he will make I genuinely believe he will make brief appearances in TNA, and I genuinely believe he will have a couple matches in TNA. But the big talking point is AEW. The big talking point is AEW. And why do I say AEW? Oh, he's not going to go to AEW. There's nothing for AJ Styles to do in AEW. I beg your pardon? You genuinely have a lot of people think that there's nothing for AJ Styles to do in AEW. Content creators that I love watching say that they have no desire in watching AJ Styles in AEW. And that's your opinion. That's fine. And I respect it. But I have to disagree with you. 110%. And you guys probably know who I'm talking about. And I'm not going to name his name because, again, I respect him. I'm a fan of his content. but I have to vividly disagree with that sentiment. There's a lot for AJ Styles to do in AEW. Look at the main event scene right now in AEW. The main event scene in AEW right now is as stacked as it could possibly be. The world title scene alone is very interesting, to say the least. The world title scene right now in AEW is MJF, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, to an extent Samoa Joe. We got Will Ospreay looming. We got Will Ospreay in a couple months coming back. And you know for a fact he's going to be inserted in that mix because, again, he's one of the top guys in AEW who's currently out with an injury. You know for a fact there's a lot of things for AJ Styles to do. Look at the match possibilities for AJ Styles in AEW. AJ Styles versus MJF. Could you imagine the promo battles between the two guys? Oh my God. Holy shit. AJ Styles versus Hangman Page. AJ Styles versus Swerve Strickland. The dream match that everybody wants to see. AJ Styles versus Will frickin' Ospreay. Everybody wants to see that match. Everybody. Imagine AJ Styles versus Will Ospreay All In at Wembley Stadium. That's like the ultimate dream match right there. Oh, no. Better yet. AJ Styles versus Kenny Omega. There's a reason why AEW is pushing Kenny Omega the way that they're pushing him. It's because they don't know how long Kenny Omega has left in him. Because Kenny Omega is essentially near the end of his career as well. And AEW really wants to give Kenny Omega that one last run with the World Championship. And I genuinely believe Kenny Omega will win the AEW World Championship in 2026. I genuinely believe that. But again, who kicked AJ Styles out of the Bullet Club? Oh, I know who. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the Elite. They kicked AJ out of the Bullet Club. There is a story to be told there. And AEW could explain it vividly with their audience. Because their audience knows. Kenny Omega versus AJ Styles is another dream match that we all want to see. Now, they've wrestled before, but that was years ago. I'm talking about like now. And they can finally pay that, that storyline off. They can pay it off in a different way, but I mean, dude, there's a story to be told with Kenny Omega and AJ Styles. Better yet, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Yeah. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Now, we've seen plenty of AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe matches. I mean, come on. We've seen him in TNA. I mean, hell, we've seen him in WWE. I believe, what was it, SummerSlam 2018 that they had their match? I mean, they had plenty of matches with each other, but I feel like the best final match for AJ Styles is a match against Samoa Joe. That's like the best AJ. That's like literally the best AJ Styles, like the best last match that you could book for AJ Styles. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Because Samoa Joe is one of AJ Styles' greatest rivals. And where is Samoa Joe? Samoa Joe is in AEW. AJ Styles is going to be all elite. Mark my words. Right here, February 1st, Sunday, February 1st, 2025, AJ Styles will be all elite. He's going to retire in 2026. Don't get it twisted. He is going to retire in 2026. But he's going to have a brief run in TNA, and then he's going to have his last couple of matches in AEW before he calls it a career. I cannot, I repeat, I cannot see this match with Gunther being his last match. I just can't. I just can't. I'm being brutally honest with you guys. I cannot see this being his last match. If it is, fantastic career. It wouldn't be the way that I would go out, but it is what it is. But there's so much left on the table. an AJ Styles retirement tour. A retirement tour in which he will go out on his own terms. And I know John Cena stated that last year, but let's be honest, he didn't really go out on his own terms. Because let's be honest, that heel run was disastrous. AJ Styles has a chance to do the opposite. AJ Styles has a chance to do the opposite. He has a chance. The question is, will he play ball or not? We're going to have to wait and see. But my bold prediction, AJ Styles will be all elite. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Overall thoughts on this match. I enjoyed this match for what it was. It was not a bad match whatsoever. I mean, you had to know going into this match that Drew was gonna win. Like there was no way that Sami Zayn was gonna go over in this match, regardless of them being in Saudi Arabia. But this begs the question: when are they going to pull the trigger on Sami Zayn? How many, world title matches would Sami Zayn have before, enough's enough of him losing? We got to start talking about Sami Zayn. The Sami Zayn experiment needs to go full force after this. Question is WWE going to pull the trigger on Sami Zayn? Sami Zayn is a future WWE champion. I mean, he hasn't even won the World Heavyweight title yet. He needs to win that title. Let's be honest with ourselves. Some people are saying next year's WrestleMania. Next year's WrestleMania is the perfect WrestleMania for a guy like Sami Zayn to win the world title. Not just because they're in Saudi Arabia, but because of the fact that it's Sami freaking Zayn. Sami Zayn has been through a lot in his career. A lot of ups, lots of downs. But throughout the past couple of years, he's been at the top of his game. He has been at the top of his game. Ever since that Bloodline storyline, came to fruition, ever since they inserted Sami Zayn into the Bloodline, Sami Zayn was just on a whole other level. And then now that he has split from the Bloodline, I mean, Sami Zayn, again, is a much bigger star because of it. But they didn't put the belt on Sami Zayn. And for creative reasons, there's probably a reason why, but I think WWE really needs to start thinking about pushing Sami Zayn further on and have him win a world championship, regardless of what title it is, whether that's the World Heavyweight title or the WWE title. We're going to have to wait and see, but overall, I thought this match was really good. This was Drew McIntyre's first championship title defense, and I genuinely believe that he's probably going to hold on to this title well onto WrestleMania. Because, again, as we saw in the Men's Royal Rumble, they're probably going to book the Cody match. But the story was really well produced here in this match, especially those last couple of minutes, the back and forth, the haluva kicks and the claymores. I mean, this match was really good. And the crowd was 100% invested in this match, and they were 100% invested in Sami Zayn. Because, again, he's the man. Sami Zayn is their GOAT, and he's one of my GOATs as well. You know what I'm saying? But if there's any indication that WWE really needs to think about putting the world title on Sami Zayn, this is the match to show him. This match, Sami Zayn looked like $1 million. And I think it's time to talk. I think it's time to put the world championship, whatever world title it is, on Sami Zayn. Whether that's next year at WrestleMania, we have absolutely no idea. We're gonna have to wait and see. But coming into this match, we all knew that Sami Zayn was not going to win the WWE title. Why would Drew McIntyre drop the WWE title in his first title defense? Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Why would he? Why would he do that? But yeah, that was the world title match between Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. All right, let's talk about the Men's Royal Rumble. The Men's Royal Rumble took place, and the Men's Royal Rumble was actually pretty entertaining to watch. A lot of people complained about this Royal Rumble, and I don't know why. I really do not know why they were complaining about this Royal Rumble, considering, there was not a lot of surprises. They always based around the surprises. I mean, the Royal Rumble is just not about the surprises. I know the WWE made you feel that way throughout the past couple of years about all the surprise entrants. And look, that's a big factor in the Royal Rumble. But in my opinion, what makes a good Rumble is not just the surprises. What makes a good Rumble is what happens during the match. What are the implications? What's going on? Who's eliminating who? Because that can very well play into WrestleMania plans. And we saw that on this Royal Rumble. Now, were there some weird decisions being made in this Royal Rumble? Absolutely. I mean, for God's sakes, Brock Lesnar got eliminated while Jey Uso was eating, and nobody got to see Brock Lesnar getting eliminated. I mean, it was kind of hilarious. Some people were upset about that, but, one of the things like that. Things like that. But I'm going to be showing you guys all of the entrants for the men's Royal Rumble match, or telling you guys all of the entrants for the men's Rumble match. Oh, yeah, spoiler alert, Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble, and that got a lot of people into a frenzy, in which we will be talking about. But number one, Obafemi. Obafemi was the number one entrant in the men's Royal Rumble match. Braun Breaker. Yes, Braun Breaker. Who, by the way, he was, I believe, a graphic of his showed on SmackDown the night before, basically spoiling his entrant, and he ended up getting the number 2 spot. But Braun Breaker is number 2, and he ends up getting attacked by a mystery man. He ends up getting attacked by a mystery man, and nobody knows who this mystery man is. Everybody is immediately assuming it's Seth Rollins. Now, could it be Seth Rollins, considering he hit the stomp? Very well. It very well could be, but I don't think it's that obvious. Some people are even pointing out Adam Pearce. I have absolutely no idea, but the mystery man is back, and this time it's not Austin Theory. Some people are even pointing out it's freaking Logan Paul, which I doubt it is. But who is this mystery man? I have no idea, but Braun Breaker comes in and immediately gets eliminated by Obafemi. Yes, he immediately gets eliminated by Obafemi, which is crazy to think. But I was very much looking forward to Braun Breaker dominating that Royal Rumble, but he got eliminated as soon as he got in. Number 3, Solo Sikoa. Number 4, Rey Mysterio. Number 5, Rusev. Rusev essentially gets eliminated minutes after coming in the Royal Rumble match. And Oba basically is dominating and eliminates Rey. Rusev is hilarious, man. Rusev comes in and he immediately gets eliminated. Look, and I know a lot of other people were talking about this, but Rusev's run in WWE recently has been disastrous. Like, it just has been. Like, prima donnas always, I've always said this, prima donnas always have things coming back to bite him in the ass, and Rusev is a pure example of that. I genuinely believe Rusev was a prima donna when he was in AEW, because there were a bunch of stories about Rusev, given a lot of creative pitches, and he just refused all of those creative pitches and basically refused to come to work, and they basically paid him to sit at home. They paid him to sit at home until they ended up releasing him. And I'm like, what do you think was going to happen? What do you think was going to happen? And he comes to WWE thinking that he's going to get a much better opportunity, and he's kind of right back to square one. He's right back to square one, and he immediately gets eliminated in the Royal Rumble. There's any indication about what WWE thinks about Rusev, just watch the Royal Rumble and watch Rusev's, entrance in the Royal Rumble match. That they clearly showed what they thought about Rusev. Again, Obafemi is dominating. He eliminates Rey Mysterio. Matt Cardona is number 6. Damian Priest is number 7. Javon Evans is number 8. Mr. Iguana from AAA is number 9. Whoop That Trick Williams is number 10. Cody Rhodes is number 11. El Grande Americano is number 12. The original El Grande Americano is number 13. Number 14, Powerhouse Hobbs, a.k.a. Royce Keys. Yes, the rumors are true, and Powerhouse Hobbs is all WWE, and his first appearance was at the Royal Rumble. Now, one of the things that I loved about this was, number 1, Michael Cole on commentary basically admitted that he watches AEW without saying that he watches AEW. He basically said, I've been following this man's career throughout the past couple of years. Yes, so that means you watch the AEW product. It's great to know. But what was funny about this was, this is the most WWE thing too. his name, Powerhouse Hobbs, showed up because they knew deep down that if he just came out with Royce Keys up on the graphic, nobody knew who the hell that was until he had came out. So what the WWE did, and it was kind of smart on their end, was that they put the Powerhouse Hobbs name on the graphic on the Tron, and then they immediately changed it to Royce Keys, and that is his new WWE name. Personally, I don't mind the name change. Apparently, it's Royce Keys. It comes from family members of Powerhouse Hobbs, so all respect to Hobbs for that. His new name is now Royce Keys. The big question is where is he going to end up? Because now he's a part of WWE. Is he going to be part of the main roster, or is he going to be a part of NXT? We're going to have to wait and see. But his first appearance was at the Royal Rumble. They really wanted to get that buzz out there, and it was really smart on WWE's end, in which they got Royce Keys, a.k.a. Powerhouse Hobbs. Also, his interaction with Cody Rhodes was fantastic as well. And Michael Cole also mentioned that they had some run-ins in the past as well. But, man, great to see Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm happy that he's happy. And you know what? I wish the best for Powerhouse Hobbs. Again, I've stated this 2 weeks ago and last week. The reason why he left AEW was because of the fact that he saw a ceiling for himself. He wasn't going to get anywhere higher than he already was at. The Yops just wasn't going to cut for Hobbs. You know, the Hobbit. The Yops is a great faction. I love the Yops, and I love the fact that Samoa Joe has his own faction. But again, Powerhouse Hobbs, in my opinion, is much bigger than, you know, the Yops. And he saw that for himself, and he was like, you know what, I'm going to get a better opportunity in WWE. AEW is just not fit for everybody, and primarily big men. You know, again, I've always stated this. AEW is just not good with booking big men. WWE is. They are. There's one thing that WWE does better. I mean, there's a lot of things that WWE does better than AEW, but if there's one thing that is very clear that WWE does better than AEW, it's booking big men. AEW cannot book big men to save their life. They just can't. They just can't. And Powerhouse Hobbs now is a part of WWE. It's great to see him as a part of the Royal Rumble. Austin Theory is number 15. 16 is Bronson Reed. Ilya Dragunov is number 17. La Parka. Yes, La Parka from AAA is number 18. Great to see La Parka there. Dragon Lee is number 19. Number 20 is Logan Paul. Number 21, LA Knight, who basically eliminates the majority of the division except for Logan Paul. Number 22, Brock Lesnar. Yes, Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman comes out at number 22. Number 23, The Miz. Number 24, Rey Fenix. Number 25, Jey Uso, who basically was eating all over the place, and he wasted so much time that as soon as he got into the ring and wanted to play his music again, Roman Reigns' music played. Roman Reigns comes out at number 26, and this was hilarious, and this made Jey Uso look so stupid in a funny way. Roman Reigns comes out, and he wanted to play the music of Jey Uso. He's like, yo, let's run it back. And he basically tricks Jey Uso, and he's all serious. And then Roman Reigns dominates, which is great to see. Jacob Fatu at number 27. Penta at number 28. Number 29 is, or I should say, number 30, I think, is Gunther. I completely forgot who the number 29 entrant. I probably skipped a number, but I know the number 30 entrant was Gunther. All right. The Royal Rumble itself. So then Cody Rhodes gets eliminated by Drew McIntyre, who interfered in the Royal Rumble match. So number one, that clearly shows who is what the matches are going to be for WrestleMania. If Drew McIntyre cost Cody Rhodes the Royal Rumble, that means we're going to be getting Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, with Cody Rhodes winning the Elimination Chamber this month in Chicago. Roman Reigns then eliminates Jacob Fatu. Roman eliminates Jey Uso. Roman, Gunther, Randy Orton, and Logan Paul are the final four. So I believe number 29 was Randy Orton, and then number 30 was Gunther. But those are the final four. Basically what happens is Logan gets eliminated by Roman, and then Roman gets immediately hit with an RKO by Roman, and then Gunther goes straight for the elimination and eliminates Randy. Gunther and Roman are the final two, which is a great final two, by the way. And Roman eliminates Gunther and ends up winning the 2026 Royal Rumble match. Now, number one, on my predictions last week, I stated that there were only 3 people logical enough to win this Royal Rumble. It was either Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, or Gunther. My pick was Gunther, and I was close to being right because Gunther was in the final 2. And from a creative standpoint, it would make total sense for Gunther to win the Royal Rumble considering Gunther is on a tear right now. Imagine retiring AJ Styles on the same night, and on the same night, you end up winning the Royal Rumble. I mean, that's fantastic to see. But if you really connect the dots at the same time, it kind of wouldn't have made sense, even though it would have made sense, because again, he would probably go after CM Punk's world title because that was the title that he lost to back at SummerSlam. But if you look at what they did, Drew McIntyre cost Cody the WWE, or not the WWE title, the Royal Rumble. So that basically means that Cody is going to win essentially the Elimination Chamber at the Elimination Chamber in Chicago. And that leaves Roman Reigns, who won the Royal Rumble. Now, Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble didn't really go too over with a lot of people. A lot of people are split on the decision of Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble. Now, again, the rumored main event for WrestleMania, or the original rumored main event for WrestleMania, was going to be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns 3. I personally would not have a problem with that match, but given the fact that Drew McIntyre won the WWE title in that 3 Stages of Hell match a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown, we're most likely not going to be getting that match. So we're probably going to be getting another Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes match, but it's most likely not going to be the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania. Because we all know Night 2 of WrestleMania is the actual main event of WrestleMania. You know, they may say, oh, you main evented WrestleMania, but you main evented Night 1. It's not really the real main event. Let's be honest with ourselves. The real main event of WrestleMania is Night 2. That's the real main event of WrestleMania. What I think WWE is going to be doing here is they're going to have Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes as the main event of Night 1, or if they involve Jacob Fatu in any way, shape, or form, because again, that was another rumored match for WrestleMania, was a triple threat match for the WWE title, and WWE's no stranger at booking triple threat matches as a world title match for WrestleMania. We've seen it time and time again. Like vividly, I can remember Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. And that's the last time I'm going to be mentioning Chris Benoit's name, but they did do a triple threat match. WrestleMania 30, of course, they did Daniel Bryan, Batista, and Randy. So, I mean, we could very well see a triple threat match depending on what could happen at the Elimination Chamber. But in terms of Roman Reigns, I don't think we're going to be getting Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. I think we're probably going to be getting a one-on-one match between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. That's what I think is going to happen. Because, yes, they did share a ring together, you know, as partners and against each other. Of course, they shared a ring in the triple threat match in the main event of Night 1 last year, and that was a fantastic match. It was 10 times better than the crap that we got the next night at WrestleMania. It was 10 times better. But in terms of a main event caliber match for WrestleMania 42, I think Roman Reigns is the best option. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk is a big enough match for Night 2 at WrestleMania. And I think we're going to be getting that. Now, do I think Roman Reigns is going to win the World Championship? Hell no, I don't think so. Because, again, his schedule is very limited. But I do believe we're going to be getting a Roman Reigns versus CM Punk match at WrestleMania Night 2. But yeah, Roman Reigns is the winner of the 2026 Royal Rumble. Let me know your thoughts down below on what you think of this outcome and what you think is going to be the main event of WrestleMania 42. But yeah, that was the Royal Rumble. Overall thoughts on the Royal Rumble, I thoroughly enjoyed the show for what it was. Was it a perfect show? No, it was not a perfect show, but the show definitely got the job done what it needed to do. In terms of the outcomes, some of the outcomes, especially on the men's side, were a little mixed. Like, of course, Roman Reigns winning is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but it's a big enough win. I'm not mad about it. We're probably going to be getting a one-on-one match between Cody and Punk. Oh, not Cody and Punk, Roman and Punk. And I'm not against it. I'm not against that match whatsoever, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens as we are now on the road to WrestleMania 42. Okay, and our final topic We're going to be talking about Tommoso Ciampa. Now, as you guys all know, Tommoso Ciampa recently left WWE, and he wasted no time. He wasted no time and is officially All Elite with All Elite Wrestling. He made his debut after Mark Briscoe's match this past Wednesday on Dynamite, confronting him and challenging him for the TNT Championship. Now, I've said my fair share about Tommoso Ciampa and where he was going to go next. I genuinely thought that AEW was most likely going to be his option, and I was right about that. But at the same time, AEW's roster is so packed right now to the point where they really don't need somebody like Tommoso Ciampa. But at the end of the day, it's Ciampa's choice, so he wants to go where he wants to go. Some people were saying TNA, and TNA is a pretty good option because, I mean, look, Mike Santana is the world champion right now, and I think he's going to be the TNA world champion for a while. He could use some credible challengers, and Tommoso Ciampa would have been the perfect challenger for Mike Santana and the world championship, but that did not happen. Tommoso Ciampa went straight to All Elite Wrestling, and what's even crazier was that last night on Collision, and I didn't watch Collision. I never watched Collision. I only watched Dynamite. Tommoso Ciampa has won the TNT Championship in his debut match against Mark Briscoe. AEW wasted no time. They wasted no time in putting the TNT Championship on Tommoso Ciampa. That is insane in a good way. But what are my thoughts on this? Number one, I'm happy for Tommoso Ciampa. Does this mean that they're going to book him well? I have absolutely no idea. Where does Mark Briscoe go from here? We're going to have to wait and see. Where does Kyle Fletcher play into all of this? Because we all know Kyle Fletcher is wanting to win back his TNT Championship, but he's in a way kind of starting to have a little bit... I mean, everybody's having problems in the Don Callis family. Primarily Konosuke Takeshita, but we're going to have to wait and see. But where does Kyle Fletcher play a role in this? We're probably going to be getting a Ciampa versus Fletcher match further on down the line. But Tommoso Ciampa, man, immediately winning the TNT Championship. This is great for Tommoso Ciampa. Clearly, Tony Khan sees something in Tommoso Ciampa that Triple H just didn't see Tommoso Ciampa on the main roster. It's great for him, man. I'm happy for Tommoso Ciampa. Now, Ciampa actually broke his silence as to why he joined All Elite Wrestling, and he stated this, and I quote, "It's something I've been leaning towards for quite some time," Ciampa told The Takedown on Sports Illustrated. "I do not know that I can say that there's one sole factor that led to it or caused it. I think it's one of those things when your contract is coming to an end, you naturally have discussions. Those discussions started at home with his wife and daughter. They collectively sat down as a family and discussed where the best place would be for Tommoso to continue his professional wrestling career. And ultimately, the difficult decision was made to part ways with WWE after a decade-long tenure. If I wrestled in the 90s, I'd want to be a part of ECW. The early 2000s, you want to be a part of Ring of Honor. I was lucky I got to do that a little bit. In the 2010s, I think for me at least, I wanted to be a part of NXT Black and Gold. And when I looked at the landscape of professional wrestling in the 2020s, the answer was AEW. That's what I want to be a part of." Ciampa said that there's something about the underground, passionate fan base that he's always loved about pro wrestling, which was obviously a huge part of the allure of AEW. A couple of fire that burned within all the sickos with the passion and energy of AEW President Tony Khan, whom Tommoso met for the first time on Wednesday night at Dynamite, and it was a match made in heaven. And there was also the opportunity to finally bring his Psycho Killer persona to a larger pro wrestling audience. Tommoso stated this, and I quote, "There was a lot of times that I tried, and for one reason or another over the years in WWE, it wasn't something that I could do. But for Tony and the whole crew to just collaborate the way that they did and have open arms and see the vision and just allow it to breathe and have a chance, I'm already thinking 6 months, 12 months ahead of the evolution of the Psycho Killer." Continuing on, he already has the trademarks lined up, merchandise, ideas, gear designs drawn up, the whole 9 yards. Being able to breathe new life into the Psycho Killer character, in his own words, has made Tommoso Ciampa feel alive once again. For a long time, I had to listen to people to tell me, not so much directly to my face, but more so online, that 2018 was prime Ciampa. I'm 100 times better now than I was then. That was nothing. That was absolutely nothing. I'm physically better. I'm mentally sharper. My storytelling, my psychology is on a whole different level than it was back then. What people are about to see is going to blow their minds. I'm going to shock the world because I finally have a shot to find out if I am as good as I think I am. Tommoso Ciampa's WWE contract expired at midnight on January 26th, and his deal with AEW was worked out over the course of a chaotic 2-day period. Part of that included music producer Mikey Ruckus just given 38 hours to whip up some new theme music, which prompted Ciampa to call him a wizard. Tommaso wasn't able to spend his final 6 weeks of his WWE contract preparing for the next chapter of his wrestling career. He doesn't know if the debut fans saw on Wednesday night would have come together in time. Fast forward to Saturday on Collision, and he ends up winning the TNT Championship. So clearly, AEW has plans for Tommoso Ciampa, and honestly, I'm here for it. We're going to have to wait and see what AEW does, but man, clearly there is a lot of high hopes for Tommoso Ciampa in All Elite Wrestling. I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he's a champion over there. His first match in AEW, he becomes the TNT champion. Well, let's just see how AEW books Tommoso Ciampa down in the long run. But yeah, that was the WrestleHavoc podcast from Sunday, February 1st, 2025. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this edition of the show. Of course, I will be on the show next week right here, not only on the WrestleHavoc Podcast YouTube channel, but also on WNN platforms. I'll see you guys all next week. And without any further ado, please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications. I'm on the lookout for more videos right here on the WrestleHavoc channel, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. And as the friggin' referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. And as always, it is yours truly, Flamin' Rookie DeRays, signing out. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.